Hello, welcome to the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. This is episode 159, and I'm Charlie, and I'm with Nolan this week. How you doing?
I am very good, Charlie. Good to be here. How about yourself?
Same, and just like with Jacob, it's been a while. It's nice to catch up with you.
Absolutely. Seriously. Always fun.
And yeah, thanks for stepping up along with Lily, helping keeping the fort down here. And we're starting to approach 200 episodes. That's nuts.
That is absolutely wild. It's a good fort to keep down. I'll tell you that.
So this week we have an interview that Jacob did, and we'll play that right after our discussion. We are a little bit behind on our interviews. We have almost a dozen that we need to get through, and we're going to try to start kicking those into gear soon. But for the open this week, we're going to have a discussion about the 7-OH ban that was proposed at the federal level.
Yes, so there is some big news that we're going to talk about today on the 29th of July, 2025, a little over a week ago. The FDA has recommended that 7-OH be classified as a Schedule 1. So essentially, for those of you that do not know, Schedule 1 is the same as heroin and LSD. And then also, for those of us that aren't quite familiar with this yet, that are casual listeners, 7-OH is not kratom. It is a potent synthetic opioid derived from kratom. And there are sources out there that can say that it's, 10 or 13 times stronger than morphine. And there's a lot of information out there, and it's not all right, but it's not all wrong. Anyway, so Charlie and I wanted to talk about the implications of this ban today.
I have probably all sorts of reactions with the stories that we're hearing in some of our interviews and the inquiries we're getting on our website. It seems like it is a problem that it is many more multitudes more potent. The withdrawals are much harder, and the sort of the trajectory of addiction with the 7-OH isolate products are way more profound than any other type of product on the market. Personally, I'm against prohibition. It'd be great if there was a way to maintain access. It's either it's banned or it's a Wild West. It's like an on and off switch right now, and there isn't a nuanced way. Eventually, it'd be great if maybe 7-OH was, if it went through the FDA rulemaking, if it was a prescription and maybe not as a tight a prescription as regular pain pills, if the patient data supports that safety. My main issue with what I'm hearing is from the advocates and from the industry is that all problems related to kratom is associated with 7-OH. Just from this podcast, you can tell that you can get in trouble with powder kratom. You can get in trouble with the kava-kratom drinks, with the extracts, either the shots or the tablets. So that's my disappointment is this narrative that's let's ban 7-OH and then just forget about kratom itself. That's safe and it's not addictive, and which I think if you've listened to this podcast is it's especially not true.
I could not agree more. I think it is problematic and a little potentially dicey the way this is being approached, where you completely axe the one and give free rein to the other and expect them not to be correlated with one another. I will agree that from the stories I've listened to on this podcast that 7-OH is no cakewalk in terms of just regular powdered kratom. It's definitely ruined a lot of lives. And I know that if it were me, it's not. I might take a closer look at regulation, at stuff like you said, prescription, anything like that. But in terms of kratom itself, I've always just been looking forward to a little bit more action, considering age limits, concentration caps, just any sort of regulatory framework to turn kratom into something that is taking full advantage of how it can be beneficial as a pain relief alternative. So I think the more work that can be done there, the better.
Yeah, I think the current administration in the White House, a lot of their motivation comes from a moral panic kind of thing where they're saying they're being tough on drugs and this is the new demon that's torching our communities. And there's some truth to that. But It shouldn't be any surprise to any listener. Our bodies, when we process kratom powder or kratom leaf products, a small amount of it is metabolized in our systems to create the 708 as a metabolite. And that's what is part of the reason why it makes it intoxicating and makes it potent, is because our body can process that. But yeah, I'd love to see the whole kratom marketplace regulated all at once, but I don't think we're going to see that. I think we're going to see these piecemeal actions.
It reminds me a lot of Reefer Madness, that campaign that was decades ago, where I think in an effort to prove to the populace that there is an effort being made on behalf of children and people who are stumbling into quote unquote poor lifestyle decisions, that they're making an effort. But I think that oftentimes, as very much was the case with Reefer Madness, it was a little misdirected. I just think that's interesting. So I agree. We're probably going to see a lot more of this piecemeal legislation and infighting between these companies and regulators and lawmakers. And I don't think it's going to move very fast.
One interesting thing is, it is the first time that we've heard anything from the feds at this volume and at this level since they called for a ban almost a decade ago of kratom itself. And the FDA had been on the sidelines for a really long time. So it is interesting that it is something the feds can step into. There is some infighting. There's some critics of this in the industry are saying this is picking winners and losers, and it's about creating a monopoly in the marketplace for certain types of products. There are other ways that manufacturers can manipulate kratom. I just saw you can mail your kratom. It's called Test My Kratom. And somebody recently sent some extract pills to them. It didn't have 7-OH in it, but it had large concentrations of pseudo-mitra in it, which also is another metabolite or compound that's equally intoxicating. The feds might ban 7-OH, and there might be a race to the market, these products with high concentrations of pseudo-mitra in it.
Yeah. That's something to look out for. I guess one of the benefits of getting at least a standardized testing organization behind a lot of these companies that's watched on a either a federal or a state level would be consumer safety. Because I think I did see one of those mass spec tests that just analyze the broad spectrum chemical composition. Sometimes these products do contain trace levels of lead or other heavy metals. And I think wholesale, if we can do one thing, at least for the people that have chosen to continue to consume kratom, it would be to make it as safe as possible to do. And I just see no reason why that wouldn't be of interest.
That's why it would be nice to see a whole framework that's universal, that has all that age requirements, testing requirements, labeling, warnings, and so forth. And one of the issues with the testing is right now, the political lobbying organization is the tester that certifies whether or not kratom is safe. And there's a whole pay to play incentive there that is probably not right. And there should probably be outside testing by a third party that not is associated with the industry. But I guess my last thing, and it is the point of the podcast, is I do think addiction is an inside job, meaning that no boss, no wife, no job, no government official is going to probably be able to solve your problem with an addiction. But it doesn't mean that there doesn't need to be rules in a marketplace that's safer. But the point of our podcast is we're on our own to get over these addictions. Even in the case of 7-OH, if and eventually we'll get banned in the next couple of months, but still we'll be on our own still to solve that problem. It was very smart. They came out of prohibition, and for the very beginning, they decided not to take positions on the legality of alcohol and stuff, just because they saw it was a distraction. And sometimes I do think that we're at risk of doing that too, because so much of the discussion about kratom is about, is it legal or not? And it really obscures and distracts from some of the other issues associated with it.
I agree. I totally agree. I guess to finish that last thought, at least just comment on it, would be that humans can get addicted to pretty much everything, right? Some things are obviously more addictive than others, and some things are easier to get addicted to, but you can't get rid of all the addictions that come with being a functioning member of society, right? Whether that be to work, whether that be to some substance or other, whether that be to kratom or coffee. So, like you said, I think it is a lot of an inside game, but
I do think there's a category error in the way kratom is regulated right now. I don't think it should be in the same bucket as caffeine, and
no,
it should be more in the bucket of nicotine and alcohol as some kind of legal
yes.
drug and have guardrails associated with that. So I think that is a problem. And this is one step to take to right the ship, but we'll see all the ripple effects.
Anyway, to all of our listeners out there, thank you for joining us and for listening in. And thank you, Charlie, for keeping this together, and to all the other lovely hosts that are working so hard to make this happen. And now, long last, time for the interview. Welcome to the Kratom Sobriety Podcast. This is Jacob. Today on the podcast, I have the pleasure of talking to Alyse. Alyse, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good as well. Thank you for asking.
Good.
So, Alyse, how would you want to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes. So my name is Alyse. I am 24 years old. I am born and raised in Salem, Oregon. I'm currently a medical student. I'm going to school for medical assisting. So I'm not working right now, which is nice. I don't like working.
Who does?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh, great. Cool. It'll be good to have more people going in the medical field with experience with kratom addiction, and I'm sure that'll be valuable once you do start working. So
Yeah, that's like my goal is to like work at some kind of treatment rehab facility.
nice. That's a great way to give back. When you're not studying or hanging out with family, what do you like to do for fun?
I am a big gym girly. That's like I do bodybuilding. I have competed in 3 shows. And that's like funny that you asked because it ties into what started the kratom addiction.
Yeah, that's interesting. We don't get a lot of people on the podcast that talk about fitness and the tie-in with kratom, but I do know that can be a big thing in that community. And I've talked to a couple people that have used kratom as a post-workout type of thing or pre-workout type of thing. So I'm excited to chat with you a little bit about that. All right, cool. So what is your abstinence date from kratom?
Oh, I've had so many, but the most recent one is June 16th of this year. And I literally think that I filled out the application to be on the podcast like in May when I was like newly sober. And
You did, yeah.
yeah, but so far it's been about a month, almost 2.
Almost 2, yeah. That's great. Yeah, so for the listener's sake, we're recording this on August 8th, 2025. So yeah, almost 2 months. Congrats, that's great. I know that relapse and withdrawal cycle all too well, so I know what kind of struggle it could be. So that's
Yes.
a big achievement.
I know lots and lots about it.
I bet you do. We'll talk all about that. All right, how did you come to try kratom, and when did you first encounter it?
Okay, so it's crazy. I was in the near end of my prep for a show that started in March of 2024. That's when I first found this one specific product that I became obsessed with. So I went there's a smoke shop like right down the street from my place. And I was asking for something that would be like pain relieving and like help with anxiety because I was when you're getting ready for a show, like it's like you're grinding it out. Like it's not like regular just fitness. It's like next level fitness. So I was really sore. It was getting to me, like the nervousness and stuff like of competing was getting to me. So I just wanted something to calm down. And like when you're in a prep, like it's people smoke weed or use CBD, stuff like that. So I just went in there and I was looking for CBD at first. Like I was asking the workers like about it and stuff. And then they showed me it's a kratom extract shot that I was taking. It's a little green bottle. I don't know if I can say the name. So I'm not.
Yeah, no need to mention the name.
But
People will figure it out.
yeah, so I tried that and then I didn't have any knowledge of like kratom being addictive or anything. I had like about a week into taking the product, or no, actually before I like purchased the product, like anything that I had ever read about kratom online, there was nothing that really screamed, this is going to ruin your life type thing. And everything is like potentially addictive. So I don't know. I just was vulnerable to it and just spiraled.
Okay. Yeah. You go into a store and you try a product and you're looking for a different product and you just probably assumed that it was.
It's honestly safe because like
Yeah.
it's sold legally. And I was like, it's probably just like CBD.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably a rational conclusion to draw. Just for a little more background, did you have any history of addiction or any sort of substance abuse problems before you encountered kratom?
So in high school, I did like party a lot, but it was always like just party drugs.
Recreational drug use.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
No, it's
Texas
not addiction.
Molly, just weird stuff. And
Yep.
it never affected me to the point that I like got to now. It just was like fun and I was still able to graduate high school and I didn't do the best in high school, but I graduated and
Did
yeah,
ruin your life. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, when I graduated and started college in 2019 or 2018, I think it was 2019 when I started college. I graduated in 2018. I was prescribed Adderall.
Okay.
So I ended up like abusing Adderall for a while I was like, oh, this is making me skinny. So I would just do that and just be weird about that. And then, yeah, I had a surgery and I was prescribed Oxy,
Okay.
use the Oxy. So I've always just been like someone who, if I get a medication that's known to be like addictive, I will abuse it. I don't abuse like my antidepressants and stuff because that's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
But I have, yeah. So
That's
just with
probably.
like pills, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not qualified to make this statement, but I'll make it anyways. I'd probably classify you as someone with like addictive tendencies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All
And
right. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say even like with alcohol, it's never been something that I am drawn to, but I have drank. And every time I drink, it's like I have to take it to the next level. So I stay away from alcohol too because it's not good. It's not fun.
Okay. Yeah, I know that all too well. I was a big drinker, but I never really liked like stimulants and stuff. But if you put a bag of stimulants in front of me, I'd do the whole thing and probably buy another one. I don't know why. That's just how my brain works.
No, yeah, me too.
Okay. I think that's helpful to just establish a little bit of a baseline. So in March of 2024, you tried the extract for the first time. How did it go from there? Were you like immediately, okay, wow, this stuff really helps with the pain and anxiety. I'm going to start taking this every day.
Yeah.
You ease into it. Okay.
I wasn't taking the amount that I got to like in the end, but I was taking like a shot a day. Just
Okay.
I literally thought it was like a helpful supplement. I was like, wow, this is exactly what I was missing because it was helping so much. Like I would even take it in the morning and go work out and come home and I could like when you're that depleted, you don't have like energy to do anything because you're prepping for a competition. It gave me like so much energy and it just put me in a good mood. And I was like, okay, this is going to get me through it all. I was just so drawn to it.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've never done training like that, but I have done a half marathon and used to do a lot of distance running. And I know what you mean about like after you do one of those long training days, like it's a struggle just to want to get off the couch.
Yeah.
So I could feel you on that. All right. So you start taking it one a day. How did you progress to when first started to quit, and when did you realize that maybe this stuff wasn't harmless?
Yeah. So it took a few months for me to figure it out because I wasn't getting sick or anything. I would wake up and just go about my day. I don't think my body got physically dependent on it for probably 4 or 5 months in. Took a while. And I remember when things started to decline for me, like I would wake up in the morning and feel like sick and like mentally like confused. And I thought it was just because of the state I was in, so lean and shredded. And because I was in prep, I was like, wow, this prep is just like a lot harder than most of them. And I remember telling my husband, Vincent, like, I like started to think, I think I'm going through some kind of withdrawal. And he was like, no, there's no way. Like, you're just, because I'm a very anxious person. And he would just be like, I think you're just overthinking things. I don't think you're going through a withdrawal. And then I just like over time figured out that's what was happening to my body. And
Okay.
I would try to stop, but I had never had an addiction so strong. Like in my,
Yeah.
like, I was like, why am I always thinking about this? And why am I like not functioning right without it? And I just put two and two together and I was like, wow, I literally am stuck on this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it takes a couple months. You realize you're stuck on it. At that point, how much were you taking? Was it still just one a day, or were you up to like multiple a day by then?
By like middle time of my use, I was probably up till 5 bottles. At the end of
Okay.
my use, I was up to 15 to 20.
Oh wow. All
And it's
right. Yeah. No.
so like financially draining. And that's like $100 a day, like habit.
Yeah. The
That's
extracts get very expensive. I was using similar amount of money at the end of my usage as well. Okay. So you progress into full blown sort of kratom addiction, and before we started recording, you mentioned you had tried to quit a number of times.
oh,
The
yeah.
first time, what was it? All those just combining factors: the money, the fatigue, and the just noticing that hey, maybe I'm dependent on this stuff. Is that what kind of drew you to quit for the first time? And when did you make that first attempt?
Yeah, it was the mostly the money and just the way I was feeling, and my husband was like starting to notice like a change in like my behavior and stuff. And I literally woke up one morning and I was just like bawling my eyes out, like crying and in so much pain and just pretty much freaking out, like having a mental breakdown. And I think if I remember, my husband was stayed home from work that day and we just got me better. Like he just sat on the couch with me and let me detox because I didn't think I needed like a medical detox or like to go to the hospital or anything, like because I just didn't know like how bad it was going to be and I thought it would go away in a day.
Okay.
The first time. And yeah, it took like several days to get off of it, but I was like right back on a week later.
Okay. Yep. So you quit for the first time, right back on a week later. At that point, did you go right back into to daily use and continue the cycle? Yeah.
Yeah, it's always been daily use. Like I have not been able to sustain sobriety like quite yet. Like the longest I went was like 4 months one time.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. In the scheme of things, you started about a year and I don't know 4 or 5 months ago, so not the longest of use, and you had a period of 4 months of sobriety in there. So that's pretty good. But it's just also a testament to like how powerful of a substance that this can be, because to go from trying something for the first time and immediately using it and becoming dependent pretty rapidly and then struggling so much, you can just tell how challenging that is.
It's just insane to me like the power that it has and like how much psychoactive effects it has because it wasn't always like a good feeling for me. Like it just became so addictive that I just my brain always craved it. And so those cravings led me to just start taking more and more. And eventually it got to the point where like I was just taking it, even though I didn't want to take it. And it was making me like really sick, even when I was on it. Like I would get like really dizzy. I would have trouble walking. Like it felt like my legs were super stiff and just like having, it was messing with like my mental state. It wasn't like a good high anymore.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. I felt probably for the last year when I was taking it, it was like I was miserable and sick without it, and I was miserable and sick with it.
Yeah.
Just, I guess, maybe a little bit less miserable and sick because I was able to crush the cravings a little bit, but it still was, it wasn't any way to live, that's for sure.
No, it's a terrible way to live. And it was affecting, I'm like jumping a little bit ahead
That's okay.
story, but it's affected like my family, it's affected my husband, it's affected my friendships because literally like it got to the point where I would just be isolating myself and laying in bed, like just taking them and knowing I like couldn't really see straight, can't really walk. So what is there to do? Just lay in
Yeah.
bed, be
Lay in bed.
nodding off and like high. And there would be times where I would be like nodding off and I didn't even know I was nodding off. Like I didn't know it was doing that to me. It's my dad. I went out to coffee with my dad one time and I was using like a lot of them and I didn't realize that I was nodding off. I thought I was just like holding my head like this. And he like looks at me and you need to drive home right now and go lay in bed. Like it's very stern. He's a very silly guy, so it scared me.
Okay, so shocked you, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to back up a little bit, so you quit for the first time, you go 10 days. What happened then? Did you like use for a couple weeks, a couple months, and then quit again? Like, how did your usage progress to like when you finally were able to get off of it?
It's really hard to think of like how long I went specifically with each
That's okay.
minute for like use because there's been so many. I feel like there's probably been like 15 to 20 times for the
Okay.
final time where I'm actually like, okay, so basically I quit several times and each of those times after the first time I actually went to detox facilities like rehab
Okay.
and every time they would be like, you should stay for residential. 'Cause there's this one place that was like detox and residential in one. My mindset was like, I don't have time for that. I want to get off of this. I'll be fine. Every single time, I've probably been to detox 12 different times. And
Wow.
every single time
Such a short time, yeah.
yeah, I just convinced myself, like, you'll be fine. You know how to handle stuff. Like, you'll get back to the gym and like just keep doing what you love. And every time has led to another relapse. It was, oh,
What are those experiences like just for the listeners? Like you enter the residential detox, do they like give you comfort meds? Like what was your experience like typically?
Oh yeah, it's like way nicer to detox in a facility compared to at home. Like it takes the pain away like probably by 70% for me. But my like worst withdrawal symptom is always has always been mental stuff.
Okay.
It's never been the physical. Basically, like number one for me, like withdrawing is super severe anxiety, like crazy thoughts, depression, and sweating, like
Yep.
profusely sweating and just like really hurting like body aches. I never got like nausea. I didn't really get a lot of like restlessness because I was always able to sleep. Like the first day of my detox is usually just me sleeping for 24 hours, which is
Okay.
really nice because I like have read online. Like I was a part of the like a Reddit group and everyone's I can't sleep. Like how do I
Yeah, I could never
sleep on
sleep.
this
It's
stuff? I don't know. It's just like for me, everyone reacts to stuff so differently. So yeah,
yeah. It's all hell. It's just it's different hell for everybody
it's
depending on
horrible. It's
what's
like
worse. Yeah.
it's traumatized me in like ways I cannot explain because I had never experienced a withdrawal, and I feel like a lot of people just think it's like getting the flu, But with this stuff, it's so much more than that. It has changed me as a person.
Yeah, it's much more than the flu. And like you said, for me, I don't get me wrong, like the physical stuff isn't fun. It sucks in its own special type of way. But yeah, the mental part was always what led me back to relapse.
Yeah, that's
Um,
too. Or and the sweating because it lasts like weeks.
yeah.
Literally weeks. It's not just it's such a weird compound. Like I don't understand like how it has the power to do all of that.
Yeah, I think it's just the many different alkaloids in it that affect not only your opiate receptors, but your serotonin system, your dopamine system, and it just
No,
throws
yeah.
your body out of whack, in, for lack of a better term. All right, so after going to detox a couple times, what this last time when you got sober in June, what was that like? And what do you think maybe has been the thing that's been able to help you get this amount of clean time that you have now?
Every time I've detoxed, it's just gotten worse and worse. I don't know why. Every time it's the symptoms just increase and it was awful. But I have decided to like when I got out, there was a referral sent out for me for like actual treatment. And I am just like in the process of contacting the place to go. There's like a waiting list. So
Okay.
that's what's been keeping me sober so far, is just knowing that I'm going to learn new tools to stay sober.
Okay. And are you like doing anything in the meantime, like going to meetings or trying recovery programs of any type? Or are you just kind of waiting to get into that program to try to build those skills?
I started medically assisted treatment.
Okay.
So that's been really helpful. And then also NA meetings, I've gone to a few. I want to be more consistent with them, but it's just like life and being busy
Yeah.
in school and stuff. But I've
Okay.
learned through all this that like if you want to get better long term, like this has to come first. And I was like neglecting that all the other times. Like I was like not putting my recovery in front of everything else. I was like, oh, well, I have to, I was working for 4 years for the same company before I got fired because of pretty much this. But I would always like put work in front of it. Or I have to diet because I have to compete again, or I'm working, or like I'm going to go to school. And this, it's your life is more important than that.
Yeah, that's a really good hard lesson to learn and a really valuable statement for our listeners is that, yeah, you mentioning that you have to put your recovery first, because if you don't, then you can't do anything else because you're going to let that suffer and it's going to impact the rest of your life. Yeah, making the time and the space to really do that is good. And yeah, NA is definitely a valuable tool. Medicated assisted treatment too is something, particularly for someone in your circumstance, I believe, where you've got a lot of relapses. I know that was like super helpful for me for breaking free. How's that experience been? You mentioned is it helping with the cravings? Are you planning on doing that long term? What are you thinking about there?
Yeah. So I was actually on like medically assisted treatment with a previous quit, like December 2024, like when I
Okay.
first went on it. Took it for a few months and then I was like still taking kratom with it, which is strange because I thought it was supposed to block the high, but it didn't. And I just was being dumb and I wanted to test it. So I was like, let
Right.
me go try it. So I would be relapsing and still on Suboxone. I just stopped taking the Suboxone.
Okay.
I never even said what I was taking, but I was taking Suboxone, like a lot
Perfect.
of those. And it's like people were like, oh, you can't just stop Suboxone. You have to taper because you'll get withdrawal. And I don't know. I just never went
Hmm.
through withdrawal from it. And then I started it back up again the when I got out in June.
All right, so yeah, you're still taking it. That's good. I think that's helpful that you've got something, particularly after so many relapses. Let's see. So you mentioned going to NA and waiting on treatment. Do you have a timeline? Have they given you any idea of what the treatment program you're trying to get into looks like, and what kind of a program is it? Is it like a 30-day, 90-day, something like that?
I honestly don't. Like,
Okay.
it I don't know too much about it. It's just a place local to me, and I know that they have the option to go for 3 weeks, 30 days, or 60 days. I'm gonna shoot for 30 just because I've literally never been. I've only ever done detox, and detox is like 5 days, 5
Okay.
days to a week here. That's all my insurance covers, so I would only ever stay 5 days, and I would always be, like, in a rush to leave. But, yeah, the place I'm going to should be 30 days, and then I can get back to school and just focus on doing the things that I love. Because time will take that from you. You will lose interest in literally everything.
Yeah, you definitely will, and it becomes the center of your life. You mentioned that you had some challenges with friends, family, relationships. Has that improved now that you've got some time under your belt? How are things there?
So, relationship wise, it's never actually been like something detrimental because I have a really good partner who just loves me so much and wants to see me like succeed and be healthy. So, like, he would tell me all the time, I love you for you. I don't want to see you high, type of thing. So it was hard on him mentally, like very hard, and hard on me because I knew that I was hurting him in what I was doing. And I was also just being really, in my opinion, like a terrible person, a terrible partner, because I was not only spending all of my money, I was like maxing out all of my credit cards. I was stealing money from my husband. I was stealing money from my dad, not like actually going and taking money from him, but I would call him and lie about why I needed money. And it was real bad.
Yeah. Yeah, when they're in the middle of the addiction, it can sometimes, like you said, not be the best partner, friend, or family member. That's for sure.
I like always had a lot of support from my family. Like my dad's great. He just same kind of deal. Like he just wants to see me do be myself and be happy and healthy and succeed. I have a really great stepmom. My mom, my birth mom, blood mother, she passed away in November of
I'm sorry to hear that.
this last year. So that was like a really big trigger for me too, relapsing.
I bet. I'm sorry to hear that. All right, let's see. So you're about to get into treatment program. You've got almost 60 days clean now, which is great. We talked about some of your support systems and going into the 30-day treatment. And I think that'll be really good for you. Let's see. How's life been since you've gotten off of kratom for the last time or the most recent time? And have you gotten back to your hobbies? Have your relationships improved?
Yeah, like every time that I have gotten sober, it has been like so much better. Every time I tell myself, like, I love this, life is great. Sometimes, like, when you first get sober after using for a really long time, you get like the pink cloud effect where everything's super great and then it just crashes down. And I think that played a lot into like me relapsing as well because everything would be so amazing and happy and then it would fade away and I'd be like, okay, like what's going on? Like
Yeah.
life sucks. But this time, this last time I really didn't get much of a pink cloud because I like wasn't using for as long. So more just like reality and I like really enjoy my life. Like I love that I'm like hardworking and like I love going to the gym and being healthy and I'm gonna be back in school soon. I just had a change in mindset.
Yeah, that's a really big part of recovery too. So another good thing for the listeners. Your mindset can really propel you in a lot of directions, and when you can
The way
approach
I
things with.
think, oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
The way I think sober is drastically different from the way I think while I'm on kratom. And you don't realize that until you are off of it for a little bit, like how different you are. And also, like, how I looked physically. Like, it really
Yeah.
affected my physical appearance. I always had sunken in, like, old looking skin and like sunken in eyes, like purple, like bags. And like it was being like, I'd have a lot of dry spots on my face and it was like affecting my skin. And then you detox for a few days and you look like a different person. It's that quick. Like, it's just so weird to me.
Yeah, it does really do a number on all those things you mentioned. And yeah, the turnaround and the rebound can be really quick. It's not always the case. And I know some people sometimes struggle with that too. And they're like, oh, see, everybody else is rebounding so
Oh, yeah.
fast. It's taking me so long. And we're all a little bit different. But yeah, what you said too about like the differences between yourself when you're using versus sober, I noticed that a lot too. For me, I would act quite selfishly, and I'm usually not a
Me too.
selfish person otherwise.
Yeah, me too. So bad. Like, I was just such an awful person. Just do things that I like would not normally do. And just the state of mind that you're in, you don't even care about like the amount of money you're spending. Like,
Yeah, the justification
so
becomes real
much.
easy to do.
Yeah, so much debt and like just wasting like full paychecks and just forgetting about your bills and responsibilities is it's embarrassing, honestly.
Yeah. I'm glad you're on the other side of it now and you have a good kind of plan to continue to build your recovery tool set.
Too.
Yeah, let's see. If you just maybe a couple more questions and then I think we should probably wrap up. If someone was to come to you now that you've been through this experience and they're also struggling with kratom, if there's one top tip you could give them, what would you share with them? If they asked you for a recommendation on how to maybe get out of the kratom pickle addiction?
Honestly, I would recommend going to like actual detox, at least, if not residential treatment if you can. I haven't gone yet, but like I'm just at that little waiting phase. So if you can get professional treatment, like if your insurance covers it, or if you can just afford to go, I would recommend going to detox because it does make you're not going to be like feeling good when you're detoxing, even with medication, but it does help significantly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good tip too. I think for myself included, like the last thing I ever want to do was go to detox or end up like outpatient or inpatient. But when I finally went to outpatient, it was a huge help. And one of the reasons why I was able to get past my own kratom addiction and other addictions. But yeah, I've never talked to anybody or met anybody at a meeting or anything where they said that they would not go or would do things differently if they went to detox or rehab. Everyone's always said highly recommend, would
Oh,
do
yeah.
the same thing again. So,
It's also just because I have done both. Like, I've detoxed at home a few times, and then, but most of my detoxes were in facilities. Like, the difference mentally is huge because when you're at home and you're detoxing, like, you still will feel like obligated to do things. And the way that my mental state works, like, I would freak out like about everything because you have such high anxiety and you're just in so much pain. And I'm like, oh, I need to clean the bathroom. Like, I have to do this. Everything seems like you're doomed. Things seems just so crazily like you can't accomplish it. And it's just like a simple thing. I don't know. But then you can go, if you go to detox, like you have a safe place where you can just get better. You don't really have
yeah,
to think about, oh, I need to pay my bills or clean my bathroom or just like little like things that would just seem impossible if you were home.
yeah, you only have to focus on one thing, and that's getting better
Better.
versus when you're detoxing at home, you're trying to get better, but you're thinking about, I have to take my dog out later, I have to go to work tomorrow, or who's going to make dinner? How am I going to do this? How am I going to, sometimes people don't tell their family and they're like, how am I going to pass myself off to being sick versus drawing and all
Oh,
that
yeah.
crap? So definitely it takes that out of the equation, which I think makes things a lot easier. All right, let's see. I guess maybe a non-kratom related question to let the audience know a little bit more about you. I always like to ask people if they had unlimited limited access to money and had all the free time they could want. Is there anywhere in the world you'd particularly pick to travel, and like why?
Oh, I don't know. It's just like something I need to think about. Honestly, I'd probably go to Greece, like somewhere in Italy, and
It's a good option.
it just seems like it's a nice vibe there.
Yeah, Italy's pretty laid back. I've been
Yeah.
a couple times. It's
You've been?
nice. Yeah, I've been. Yeah.
Oh, nice. I have never.
I've been to Rome twice, I think, and I went to Tuscany and a bunch of cities in that area with friends almost 10 years ago now, time-wise.
That's still really cool.
Yeah, it was a great trip. I would highly recommend it. So, Elise, it's been really great getting to chat with you today. Is there anything else you want to share with the audience before we wrap up?
It has been really great talking to you too. I really appreciate this podcast because it has helped me a lot. And I do share more about my kratom experience and just like more about kratom on my TikTok. If anyone wants to follow me, my username is at Alyse.Heuen, Heun.
Elise.Heuen, Heuen. Yeah, well,
Eun. People always say
Heuen.
Huen, and I'm like, it's Heun.
Heun. All right, we'll link that in the show notes so it's clear and people can find you on TikTok. And it's been really great chatting with you. I wish you a lot of success in your eventual 30-day in-person recovery experience, and reach out and let us know how that goes so we can update everybody and stay in touch. And just thanks again for being here today.
I definitely will. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.